Hey guys, welcome to the Mystic Tech. In this episode, I'll walk you through the basic intro of singly linked list. The key important concept you need to have in your head before studying singly linked list is self-referencing structures. So let's get started. Just as the name implies, they are structures that point to themselves, or better still, they are structures in which one or more pointers point to the structure of the same type. Before we continue, I assume you already know what the structure pointers are. Okay, now let's continue. Self-referencing structures are those structures in which one or more pointers point to the structure of the same type. The definition is simple, right? So let's check the example. Struct ALX is the structure which consists of three members. First one is integer variable num, float variable grade, and the third one is struct ALX star PTR, which is a pointer, right? So this is a pointer to struct ALX itself. That is why it's named self-referencing structure. You see, from the definition, you have one or more pointers point to the structure of the same type. That is why the pointer is pointing to the structure of the same type, that is struct ALX. So in a nutshell, self-referencing structures as pointers that point to itself. Now let's check through the example. Using this ALX structure, this is our main function. In the main function, we have variable of type struct ALX. You know, structure is user-defined data type, right? So, and the name of the variable is std1, which means student1. As we know, this is a variable of type struct ALX, so it can easily access all the members of the struct type ALX, right? So std1 right here is accessing the num and it's initializing it by the value which is equal to 100, and then access the second member grade and initialize it to 122.53. Then it access the pointer PTR and is initializing it with null. Since it's a pointer, it can either store an address or null. So is this making sense? Now let's visualize it. Let's see how it works. This is how a structure with three members will look like. You see std1 variable of type struct ALX, which can store three values. So it's in a certain order. So it's storing an integer or a float or an address. So in a specific order, which is the order of struct type ALX, right? So please know that the structs can also store string and character. So I'm just using this int and float as an example. So then let's go back to the main function. We are declaring another variable of type struct ALX, and it's named std2. std2 is also accessing the members of the members one by one, and it's initializing them with a specific value. So std2 is accessing variable num and it's initializing it by 120, initialize grade by 93.28, and ptr by null. Now let's visualize it this way. The key point right here is to know that the std1 and std2 are both variables of type struct ALX, and every variable has their own address where they are stored in the where they store the variable, right? Now we are assuming that the base address of std1 in the memory is 10 and that of std2 is 20. We are only assuming it could be anything. Now let's check our main again. Let's study this line. We are reinitializing std1.ptr to address of std2. So it will contain 20, which is address of std2. That is the meaning of std1.ptr equal to address of std2, which is ampersand std2. Since std1 has an address of std2, we can easily access std2 through std1 because std1 has address 20, which is an address of std2, which means the std1 has ability to access std2. So now let's verify this with printf function. So in our main function, in this printf function, with the help of std1, we can access std2 and print its member. So std1.ptr means we are calling std2, you get, because std1.ptr is equal to the address of std2. So we are accessing the members of std2 through std1 using arrow function. This is very important. This is a key point. Let's take note. So we are accessing the members of std2 through std1. We are accessing the norm and the grade using the arrow function. So let's print this and see what our output will be. Yeah, we have 120 and 93.28, which are the number of std2 and its grade. This is what self-referential structure is all about. So singly linked list is all about self-referential structure. So you will definitely need to understand self-referential structure before studying linked list. So mind you, this video is not all about how to solve ALX project, but rather understanding the concept. So you can check the description of this video for the code file. Thank you.